Welcome to Star Chill Vibes. Dive into the universe of astrology, cosmic energies, and celestial insights with a relaxed, fun twist. Perfect for stargazers who love to vibe with the cosmos. Get your dose of zodiac, moon moods, and spacey good vibes.
It's so good to be diving into this. And today, wow, we're looking at a truly profound cycle. Maybe one of the most tectonic shifts for the Taurian collective in decades, really.
It feels massive.
It is. So our mission today is to take a really deep month-by-month look into the cosmic forecast for Taurus in 2026. We want to examine exactly how these major planetary transits and alignments are going to, fundamentally reshape their stability, their values, even their whole identity.
I often think of Taurus as the anchor of the zodiac, the sign that represents stability, fixed material reality.
That's it.
But when you look at the chart for 2026, it feels like their whole relationship with reality, with what stability even is about to be just radically redefined.
It really is.
So before we jump into the calendar, let's just ground ourselves. What defines a Taurus?
That sense of being in Hanker is precisely right. Taurus is the fixed earth sign, and that term fixed earth is paramount. It signifies an energy that's all about maintaining, building, and stabilizing.
They're the ones who finish what other people start.
Exactly. They provide that material security. They don't just accumulate for the sake of it. They build foundations that are meant to last.
Right.
And they're often seen as these interpreters of sacred mysteries. There's a strong association with the Hierophant tarot card, which is card V.
The Hierophant. That's about tradition, deep inquiry.
Yes, seeking deep, sustainable truth, adhering to traditions that actually work, and, acting as that dependable pillar for the community or the family. It's about a wisdom that comes from stability, not just following rules blindly.
But understanding the value system that underpins everything.
Right. So their core drivers are emotional security and what we call affective stability.
Affective stability, what does that mean in simple terms?
It's the ability to maintain a calm, steady emotional state, sort of regardless of what's happening outside of them. They rely on their foundational pillars, their home, their resources, their self-value to be unshakable.
And the memo for 2026 is, that's all up for review.
The cosmic memo is that the universe is demanding a serious, radical review of every single one of those foundations. It's an exercise in finding stability through change, not in spite of it.
Wow. Okay, so to really get the intensity of 2026, we have to look back a little. We're at the very end of this massive astrological cycle, the Uranus and Taurus saga, which has been shaking up their world since 2018.
This is the crux of the setup. Uranus, the great awakener, the revolutionary, has been transiting through Taurus, which is, importantly, the sign of its detriment.
Okay, let's pause on that. In detriment. For anyone listening who might not be fluent in the technical side, what does that actually mean? Why is Uranus weakened or difficult here?
Right. So when a planet is in detriment, it means it's in the sign opposite the one it rules. Uranus rules Aquarius. That's a fixed air sign, all about sudden electrical breakthroughs, collective innovation.
And Taurus is fixed Earth.
Exactly. Slow, material accumulation, stability. The energies are fundamentally opposed. So when Uranus is in Taurus, the revolution it brings isn't clean or easy. It's chaotic, it's destabilizing, and deeply uncomfortable because that earth energy is trying to resist the lightning bolt of change.
So instead of a nice, clean decision to reform their values, Taurus has had 7 years of just unpredictable upheaval, right? In their first house of self and identity. Their core has been rattled.
Precisely. It's been this period of profound technological and futuristic upheaval hitting everything Taurus governs on a global scale. The economy, currency, the environment, how wealth is distributed.
And for the individual Taurus.
For you, it's meant radical changes to your body, your self-image, your personal resources. And these changes often felt forced upon you or completely unexpected. But here's the massive relief.
Light at the end of the tunnel.
The light at the end of the tunnel. This long period of identity upheaval ends definitively on April 25, 2026. That's when Uranus leaves Taurus for good.
That moment must feel like a huge exhale after holding your breath for 7 years. But before we get to April, what's the momentum they're carrying in from the end of 2025?
Well, the end of 2025 gave Taurus a real taste of intensity, especially through their 7th house of partnership, which is Scorpio. In December 2025, we had this cluster of planets, Mars, the Sun, and Venus all moving through Scorpio.
Wow, all that energy in Scorpio, a sign of depth and transformation. That really points to intense relationship dynamics closing out the year.
Absolutely. Venus brings the passion and connection, but then you add Mars and the Sun, and that injects heat, assertion, maybe even conflict or anger in married life and with partners.
So the advice there was to stay calm.
The counsel was absolute calmness. Scorpio also rules shared resources, deep commitments, sometimes difficult family dynamics like in-laws. So that was the arena where you needed to avoid any sudden blow-ups.
A final crucible for partnership, forcing a transformation of those habits before the new year.
It was a final push, yeah. And we also have to note the tone that was set for 2026 by the waxing moon in Aries on December 27th, 2025. This landed right in the Taurian 12th house.
The 12th house of unseen matters, spiritual retreat. So, impulse in the 12th house.
Exactly. It suggests that the very first stirrings of 2026 are driven by subconscious actions, a need for closure, for internal healing, or maybe just finding a release valve for hidden anxieties.
It's a spark being lit somewhere you can't quite see it.
The universe is setting this impulsive, action-oriented tone, but it's hidden from the conscious mind. It's a spark that says, you must act on closure. And this momentum is so crucial because the 12th house becomes the central engine for the first quarter of 2026.
Okay, so Taurus enters 2026 with this internal spiritual urgency from the 12th house, but still with that deeply rooted need for material stability. January seems like it's trying to provide the structure for their bigger dreams.
Precisely. January kicks off with a massive emphasis on laying down a long-term vision. The Sun, and more importantly, the new moon on January 18th, are in Capricorn, which is the Taurus 9th house.
And Capricorn is all about structure, discipline, building for the long term.
Yes, and the 9th house governs these huge, expansive ideas. Higher education, philosophy, publishing, long-distance travel.
So how does that disciplined Capricorn energy structure those vast areas?
This new moon provides the blueprint, the reliable structure you need to sustain future large-scale movements. For a Taurus who values tangible results, this is a time to professionalize your knowledge.
So if you're thinking about a PhD or a major philosophical shift.
This is the new moon that gives you the discipline to commit to it for the long haul. It's the moment the Hierophant decides to formalize the wisdom they've gathered. The darkness of the new moon isn't empty. It's the fertile ground where you plant the seeds for these expansive, decade-long foundations.
And we also get this incredibly supportive alignment mid-month that connects that future vision to their sense of self. The Saturn sextile Uranus on January 20th.
This is a profoundly important and very rare aspect. It signals a collaboration between structure and innovation. We haven't seen this specific combination of energies since the mid-1990s.
And where are the planets?
Saturn is in Pisces, in your 11th house of community and aspirations, and Uranus is, for the last time, still in Taurus in your first house of self.
A sextile is an opportunity, a flow state. So how does this rare alignment actually manifest for a Taurus, blending Saturn's structure with Uranus's disruptive freedom?
It grants you the self-discipline and the inventiveness to make what seems like an impossible long-term achievement actually possible. At the Taurian, this means integrating the hard-won lessons of the past 7 years.
From Uranus in the first house.
Right. And integrating that with your commitment to your future community goals from Saturn in the 11th, your radical identity change suddenly finds a mature way to serve your highest ideals without needing to rebel.
It's the marriage of realism and freedom.
It allows you to master new technological skills, that's Uranus, and integrate them into your established community groups, that's Saturn. You find flexibility within what used to be rigid commitments. It's a harmonious blending.
We also have Jupiter blessing the third house of communication early in the month.
Yes, the full moon in Cancer on January 3rd is just beautifully supported by Jupiter, which is exalted in Cancer.
And exalted means Jupiter is operating at its absolute best.
At its peak. Growth, luck, wisdom, it's all firing on all cylinders here. The third house rules your immediate environment, siblings, short journeys, day-to-day communication.
So what does that exalted energy feel like for you?
It blesses communication and reconciliation. Jupiter's wise, growth-oriented energy combines with Cancer's warm, loving, protective vibe. It makes emotional conversations healing and productive.
So for an earth sign that sometimes struggles to initiate those vulnerable chats,
this transit allows you to express affection and reconcile misunderstandings with ease. It's a foundational healing that secures your immediate networks before the bigger stuff happens.
Okay, so moving into February, the calm structure of January seems to give way to, well, a lot more intensity. We're focused on career, but at the same time, the most critical internal aspect of the year is peaking.
February is completely defined by the peak of the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, happening around the 20th. So externally, the sun is shining a light on your career and public status in Aquarius, in your 10th house. It's demanding visibility.
But internally?
Internally, the real work is happening in your 12th house. This conjunction is the initiation of a new 36-year cycle. We really can't overstate its importance. And it's happening in Aries, the sign of self and action, right in your 12th house.
That collision of structure, Saturn, and the dream or illusion of Neptune.
Yeah.
What does that mean here?
It's a profound spiritual and structural crisis point. The 12th house rules secrets, hidden enemies, closure, karma, and the places we seek refuge or escape.
And Saturn definitively enters Aries on February 14th.
It does. And this whole conjunction demands that you, as a Taurus, take radical responsibility for your inner hidden landscape. It's a collision in Aries, the most impulsive, self-starting sign. Structure trying to solidify dreams in a sign known for leaping before looking.
That sounds tricky.
It demands mature spirituality. See, Neptune is often about spiritual ideals, but its shadow is delusion, spiritual bypass, addiction, self-pity.
All the ways we try to escape reality.
Exactly. And Saturn comes in and requires you to impose discipline on your inner work, to build boundaries around your hidden weaknesses. The whole thing forces you to root your spiritual ideals in disciplined action. That's the Aries part, rather than just succumbing to escapism.
And if you ignore this, what's the consequence?
You risk falling prey to that Neptunian victim side, blaming others for setbacks, or dissolving your personal power into fantasy. The critical lesson here is that everything that isn't authentically structured, every illusion you hold about your past or your capacity for self-sabotage, it's all going to fall away.
So you have to form a responsible, structured inner identity.
Before you can truly surrender to a spiritual path by choice, yes. And this internal cleansing is happening right alongside a major external career jolt. The solar eclipse in Aquarius on February 17th.
In the 10th house.
In your 10th house of career and public status. A solar eclipse is like a powerful collective circuit breaker. It resets the identity and the direction we shine toward. And with Pluto also moving through Aquarius in that same house, this eclipse forces a massive system reset in your public life.
So you could experience these sudden, non-negotiable shifts in your professional path. It's forcing you to align your public identity with the deeper, authentic values you're working on in the 12th house.
The external structure of your career, your company, your title, your long-term goal, it can all be unplugged or permanently rewired. It's intense. The foundations of your external status get reset while the foundations of your internal self are being reconstructed. But this cleanse is necessary to prepare you for the radical financial shift coming in the second quarter.
Okay. As we move into March, it seems like Taurus gets a moment to recenter after that incredibly intense February.
March is about releasing and reconnecting with self-value. Early in the month, Mars, the action planet, it dissolves into Pisces in your 11th house.
Mars in Pisces. Action in a dissolving sign. That can often feel a bit listless or confusing, right?
It can. It focuses your drive on groups, friendships, and your shared future aspirations. But the way you act might be indirect or even passive. You might feel really motivated by compassion or social justice, but you lack that clear, assertive direction Mars usually gives.
So there's a risk of feeling drained by group dynamics.
Unless you enforce those boundaries you just learned with Saturn, yes. But then we get the highly anticipated homecoming that gives you your energy back, the return of your ruler, Venus.
Venus comes home.
Yes. Venus starts March in Aries, where desire is impulsive. But when Venus enters Taurus on March 30th, it brings the focus completely back to your first house. Self, body, values, comfort, beauty.
That must feel incredibly grounding after the spiritual crisis of February and the dissolving action of early March.
It is a moment of pure self-focus and self-value. It's a crucial reevaluation of your personal priorities and your physical well-being. It's the cosmos allowing you to solidify who you are, this new post-Uranus, pre-financial revolution version of yourself, before the real tectonic shift happens in April.
Anchoring into the physical self.
Exactly. But before April hits, there is one final cleanup, and it's from eclipse energy.
Okay, what is it?
The full lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 3rd. It falls in your 5th house of creativity, pleasure, and children. And Virgo, an earth sign like Taurus, is meticulously focused on details, efficiency, and perfection.
So the light of that eclipse is shining on the details, revealing inefficiencies or maybe areas of self-criticism in your creative life or romance.
It illuminates everything that is out of place. in your creative projects, in your relationships with your children, in your areas of joy. It's a high beam moment that helps you refine and clean up your self-expression. The Hierophant is cleaning house, making sure the creative output is aligned with the highest standards before the biggest cycle of the year begins.
And now we're here. We've arrived at the pivotal moment of the year, the shift that redefines the next 7 years for Taurus, the end of the Uranus and Taurus era, and the beginning of Uranus and Gemini.
April 25th, that is the date that will mark a profound turning point. Uranus, the revolutionary, finally leaves Taurus and enters Gemini, the sign of information, technology, duality.
For you, this activates your second house.
The sacred house of money, personal values, security, resource management.
So that unpredictable energy that spent 7 years disrupting your identity now shifts fully to disrupting how you earn, what you value, and the very structure of your security.
This is a 7-year commitment to financial upheaval and innovation. It is. Uranus and Gemini is all about technological breakthroughs and ideological disruption in finance. We're talking decentralized currency, monetizing information, earning from multiple flexible sources. You have to break free from the old, fixed, single-source earning models that define the fixed Earth archetype.
So if you're the Hierophant, who relies on traditional wisdom and fixed value, this is asking you to become incredibly flexible and tech-savvy in your finances, almost monetizing your ability to communicate and learn new systems.
Absolutely. Uranus in the second house demands that you align your resources with your shifting values, and in an unpredictable way. Expect innovation in passive income streams, sudden changes in investments, a strong pull toward jobs that involve information, speaking, networking.
The challenge being that Taurus hates volatility.
And Uranus demands that you find stability within the volatility. It's a huge shift in perspective.
And right after that massive 7-year ingress, the cosmos gives everyone a mandatory timeout to process.
Mercury retrograde in Taurus from May 2nd to May 25th. The universe just says, hold up, integrate. This retrograde happens directly in your first house of self and identity, the house Uranus just left.
The timing is so poetic. It's the ultimate cosmic review. You have to revisit everything you learned about your identity during those 7 years of Uranus, polish it, and internalize that transformation before you can even tackle the new financial structure.
It's a deep personal review, revisiting past choices about how you present yourself, about your self-value. You're meant to reflect on the identity you want to project now that you're free of those constant lightning strikes.
So avoid signing major contracts during this time.
Definitely avoid rushing decisions. Focus instead on polishing your inner world and defining the new self-worth that will inform your new financial future.
Okay, moving into the summer, June through August. We seem to enter a highly expansive and harmonious period focused on home and security.
June 29th marks a really beautiful moment. Jupiter, the planet of expansion and benevolence, moves into Leo. For Taurus, this is your 4th house.
The house of home, family, and emotional security.
Exactly. And Jupiter in Leo is a shift toward dramatic, confident expansion. This transit activates and greatly expands creative processes related to your home. It brings joy, confidence, maybe a bit of a dramatic flair to your domestic life.
So this is the time for home renovations, expansion.
It's the ideal time. Real estate purchases, finding a larger, more comfortable space. You might experience a creative self-expression within your private sphere that you've never felt before. It's the Hierophant bringing the celebration of their values home.
And we go from this domestic joy into a period of monumental outer planet harmony in July. This connects the financial revolution to your biggest dreams and public power.
Yes. July features 2 world-changing alignments. The first is the Uranus sextile Neptune on July 15th. We just talked about Saturn and Neptune in your 12th house demanding structured dreams. This alignment reinforces that work.
So Uranus, which is invention and finance, is sextiling Neptune, which is dream and spirituality.
It's linking the inventive drive in your new financial sector, Uranus, in the 2nd house, with the spiritual clarity you're cultivating in the 12th house, with Neptune in Aries. It offers these profound glimpses of attainable futures.
So this is where you can see the practical financial applications of your spiritual discipline.
Exactly. You can integrate new technological financial structures with your deepest internal wisdom and ideals. You realize that your financial future is tied to your spiritual honesty.
And now, let's talk about the colossal alignment just 3 days later on July 18th. Uranus trine Pluto. This is historically massive.
This is probably the most empowering alignment of the year. It's the first of 5 occurrences that will happen through 2028. This trine was last prominent during the massive economic and social restructuring of the 1920s.
And a trine means these energies are supporting each other flawlessly.
Perfectly. So you have Uranus, revolution, in your second house of money, and you have Pluto, deep, non-negotiable transformation, in your 10th house of career and public power, a supportive trine between these two.
What does that mean for Taurus?
It means you are fundamentally empowered to restructure both your finances and your public standing without a lot of resistance. You have the opportunity to break free from an obsolete financial identity and gain profound control over your destiny.
So this would favor restructuring a career path to incorporate things like tech or media.
Absolutely. Decentralized finance, powerful new content creation methods. This isn't small change. This is a permanent, empowering, and fundamental restructuring of your public authority. But it requires brave action from you to claim the power that Pluto is offering.
It's liberation, but you have to walk through the door.
You have to be willing to let go of old financial identities or life structures you've outgrown. The power is available, but you have to initiate the transformation. The cosmos supports the destruction of the old to allow the new, more powerful structure to rise.
And this whole period of radical transformation culminates with a major lunation in August.
The total solar eclipse in Leo on August 12th, right in your 4th house. Solar eclipses are dramatic resets of identity and confidence. This is a spotlight focused directly on that emotional foundation and home life that Jupiter has been expanding since June.
So the question this eclipse poses to you is, how do you want to define emotional security and confidence within your most private environment? It's a reset of your inner calm.
It asks you to integrate the lessons of confidence, which is Leo, into your foundation, the 4th house. The Hierophant needs a secure, creative, and joyful home base to preach from. This reset ensures that your expanded foundation is aligned with your deepest, most honest sense of self-worth.
Okay, so as the year begins to wind down, you've navigated an identity crisis, a spiritual reckoning, a full-scale financial revolution. Q4 seems to shift focus back to refining the expansions that happened over the summer.
The primary reflective event in the early fall is another Mercury retrograde. This one is from September 1st to the 21st, and it moves through Virgo and Leo.
That's hitting your 5th house of creativity and pleasure and your 4th house of home and family.
Right, so Mercury retrograde here means you're required to revisit your creative projects, your relationships with your children, or, critically, your home and family agreements. Virgo energy is meticulous, so this is a time to revisit and refine those expansive summer projects.
Did you overspend on the renovation? Was the creative project structurally sound?
Exactly, those kinds of questions. You have to slow down, refine the details, and realign before you fully commit to the domestic expansions that Jupiter brought you. The universe is making sure that new foundation is practical, not just big.
Makes sense.
And Jupiter continues to light up that 4th house of home all through this period, so the opportunity for joy and expansion is still there. It just needs to be perfected.
And finally, we hit December, which brings a critical planetary reversal right on the home front. Mars retrograde.
Mars, the planet of action, drive, and assertion, begins its retrograde cycle on December 6th in Leo, which is crucially your 4th house.
Mars retrograde is always a pause, a time to turn the energy of action inward.
It is. So since Mars governs how we assert ourselves and fight, having it retrograde in the house of home, family, and real estate requires you to pause any major domestic initiatives.
It's a mandatory stop sign.
It's a mandatory pause to review your motivations and desires related to your domestic life, family commitments, or real estate. If you are planning to launch a major move or a big home project in December, this transit says stop. Review the emotional motivations behind the action.
That sounds particularly difficult for an Earth sign who is used to clear, linear action in their secure environment. How do you avoid domestic conflict during this period of internalized frustration?
You have to recognize that Mars's energy isn't gone, it's just turned inward, so you should avoid initiating conflict at home. Instead, this is the time to review past family disputes or your real estate goals. Was the assertion you made earlier in the year truly aligned with your values, or was it just an impulsive reaction?
So it's a structured slowdown.
It's a structured slowdown to ensure the foundations you laid all year are stable enough to support 2027. It perfectly wraps up the year's lesson. Building things correctly requires discipline and planning, which is Saturn's influence, even when Mars tempts you toward impulsive action.
Wow. Bringing all of these intense transits together, the identity liberation, the financial revolution, the spiritual reckoning, what is the core lesson that Taurus, the Hierophant, needs to learn in 2026?
I think the core lesson is about balancing that inherent fixed Earth need for stability with the reality of radical, inevitable change. You spent 7 years under Uranus in your first house, being forced to shake off the old you. 2026 is the year you must finally build the new temple.
And that temple has to be built on a new foundation of financial freedom. You're being forced to shift quickly from being defined by your fixed assets to being defined by your flexible intellectual resources.
Exactly. You have to let go of those old financial and identity foundations to embrace a new kind of freedom and innovation in the second house with Uranus and Gemini. The Hierophant has to adapt their sacred wisdom to the digital age.
So are you flexible enough to monetize information rather than just accumulating things?
That's the question. And that flexibility can only happen if you successfully navigate that profound internal restructuring demanded by the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries, hitting that secretive 12th house.
That really does feel like the invisible internal core of the year.
It is. You are required to find maturity and structure in your hidden emotional and spiritual life. If you fail to establish boundaries there, the financial freedom won't matter. You have to ground your dreams in disciplined action rather than succumbing to the 12th house shadows of rigidity, fear, addiction, or illusion.
So the biggest challenge isn't the external financial shift itself, but the internal fear and escapism that the financial uncertainty exposes in the 12th house.
That's right. If we connect this to the bigger picture, those outer planet alignments in the second half of the year, the Uranus-Pluto trine, mean you are being called into a position of greater authority and financial power.
It's a moment of unparalleled empowerment to fundamentally restructure how you make money and how you project your authority to the world.
But this shift means you have to prioritize long-term, inventive strategy over impulsive, fearful investments. You have to recognize that Uranus and Pluto are working together to support deep, inevitable change, but only if you're brave enough to allow the destruction of the old financial identity.
The Hierophant is being asked to step down from the comfortable pillars and build a new temple of wisdom based on a radical new reality.
A reality where wisdom is applied and spiritual truth is integrated into the material world.
This deep dive into 2026 has been incredibly illuminating. It really shows that even the most fixed signs are destined for profound, necessary transformation. So what does this all mean for you as you move into this cycle of foundational reset?
Well, given that the stability you seek this year must be rooted not in material possessions, but in internal structure, that's Saturn, and spiritual truth, that's Neptune, where in your life are you still confusing escapism with patience?
That is a powerful question to hold on to as we close out this deep dive into 2026. This has been a true journey through the celestial calendar. Make sure you comment your thoughts, like this deep dive, and subscribe to the Star Chill Vibes channel